Visit of a Mosquito, The Kingdom of Heaven, Part 1, A Prayer of St. G. 14 years ago, in the autumn of a man's life, he not even knowing whether in the body or out of the body, life changed. Life of a different sort began upon the visit of a mosquito. A dangerous encephalitis ensued, and the outcome was not known. Physicians said that survival might yet leave a residue of dramatic changes. To wit, a man could deteriorate, or in rare instances, an area of the brain took flight and he became savant. A higher region of experience came into his life, much beyond his former. It was not a phenomenon of consciousness in the state of a trance or ecstasy. To the outer world, this region became dead and launched to far speculations. His spirit disembodied itself and hastened to an unknown region. A wider, deeper knowledge came to him, not as though he had not lived his life's events, but as a man beyond this world. This a probable surpassing excellence of visions, passing not only the lower world, but beyond the firmament of heaven, into the third and higher heaven. Here a life was lived in all dimensions, as though one man saw the early years after creation, knew all the patriarchs and prophets, knew prophecy and its fulfillment. Then he lived side by side with Jesus of Nazareth, learning with him all the Old Testament history and wisdom, seeing it in the New Testament aspects, even on to the truths of Revelation. It was more than this. He saw the minds and hearts of all surrounding men who came into his life. Even did he revisit all the choices set before him, the path taken, the several paths not taken. The man was not disposed to speak vauntingly of himself. The experience was held closely to his soul. He imagined that as you had sent Ezekiel, you, Lord, had sent to him distant things, as if the soul were absent from his imagination and present with these things. It was real. The spirit was caught away, carrying with it body and soul to all places. This in Ezekiel, this in Paul, this in John. Here was the habitation of the divine glory, far above the aerial and the starry heavens, beyond time and place. There the assembly of the spirits of the just. There holy angels and the ascended Christ. But none of this the object of men's senses, as the other heavens are. There were still larger expectations of the glory that shall be revealed, but that was for another time. We now are contented with the usual methods of learning your truth and will. As he was united to Christ, he saw with some semblance of the seven eyes the seven spirits of God, your intelligence and wisdom. Abundant revelations were bestowed to him. He was deep in prayer and in worship so profound that he felt he could not live through it. Even so, he relived his sufferings, tempered by given knowledge of the ultimacy of these events. There were spiritual comforts which surpassed all that he had known. It was not a state of insensibility, but an aliveness which could never be imagined. You, Lord, have power to recreate the entire history of the universe to the vision of one man. It is what all men shall have in the upper world. For even now does Christ live in us and we in you, transported in spirit to the highest heaven, there to be followed by our body, glorified. We are in Christ from all eternity, given to you, chosen in you, loved by you. We are set as a seal upon your heart, engraven on the palms of your hands, represented by you, living in you, in the everlasting covenant. In time we became a new creature, converted and believed in Christ, and then we knew ourselves to be in you. When Christ was entered into the heavenly sanctuary, the holy ones of the Old Testament walked with those of the New. The mystery of your grace and wisdom in our redemption and salvation by Christ was now fully represented to us. What we had prayed for, longed for, and desired to see in the days of our flesh on earth were now made manifest. We on the threshold of the consummation of all things, our course of obedience completed. We have a perfect view of what we have passed through and what we have attained. We are come through. We are come to the springs of light and life. We are come to the fullness of all things. Amen.